thank you for coming out to the Miami Hustle. We appreciate your presence.
Thank you for having me, man.
And we appreciate your thoughts. Definitely interesting topics are going to be talked about. Just so everyone knows, we recently met. We were working in the same restaurant together on South Beach, and we just got along pretty naturally. We had some good conversations during lunch, and he mentioned that he was going to start a podcast, and I was starting mine too. So here we are.
Yeah, so here I am. Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Of course.
My name's Ken Cropper. So I also have my own podcast called Dimensional Deception, and it's more about truth, a little bit of politics, a little bit of conspiracy mixed in, but it's just a representation of who I am as a person, and what really drives me is conspiracy theories and the truth of the planet. So that's really what I'm trying to discover, and hopefully all my research will pay off one day. But thank you for having me, bro.
No, for sure, it will, for sure. So where are you from?
Originally, I'm from Philadelphia, and then I moved to New Jersey.
Is it West Philly? Born and raised?
No, not West Philly, born and raised. No, I was born in the the Philadelphia, so city of Philly. Both my parents were from Philly, and then we moved out to a town called Cheltenham, Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. And then in my 20s, my dad got a new job, so I was up in New Jersey. So I moved to New Jersey, and then became a union carpenter in New Jersey. And then COVID happened, and I decided that I needed a little bit of a change. Had a lot of things going on in my life at the time, but COVID's what really struck my interest about government conspiracies and stuff like that. I know we're not going to get too deep into that today, but that was one of the things that really gave me inspiration to figure out what the hell was going on in the world. So
we can get into anything you want.
Yeah, no, but I mean, at the same time, it was one of those things that nobody thought that was gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, imagine one day you're waking up and you're like, holy shit, the world just changed.
Weird times.
And everybody has to make life decisions for themselves. So I was one of those people. So I moved down here to the great city of Miami, and been here for 2 years, and I love every second of it. And I decided to take a leap of faith and start this podcast. So again, Dimensional Deception. Also have a website, www.dimensionaldeception.com, if you want to check out any of the podcasts that I post up there. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
man.
when you moved down to Miami, how was it compared to Philadelphia? Did you move down here with anyone, or was it just on your own?
So it was like night and day. So at the time, I had my ex-girlfriend. Maybe I was gonna move down here with her. Then things fell through, and then I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna take this journey on life. It's telling me to go here, so I decided I was gonna pack my bags, go to Miami. I already kind of had everything in line anyway, so it was just one of those things where it was not on a whim, but it was more me just needing a change, and I knew that it was going to be a good test of my mettle if I can go to another city and try to make it on my own. So
for sure,
it's exciting.
Yeah, exactly. And not a lot of people do that or say they could do that, and COVID just gave me that big kick in the ass and said, just go do something. Yeah.
And you chose Miami.
Yeah, Miami. I mean, come on. It's
it's where it's at.
It's Miami. It's the beaches. It's the women. It's the city, the vibe. It's a great city.
It seems like a great place. Where if you're trying to build a platform or a voice, it seems like a lot of people are flocking to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, here in Austin, Texas.
Speaking of Miami, I want to shout out Cremo Cigars. They're the ones that hooked it up. Very nice lady helped us out.
They were very
got us exactly what we needed. So shout out to them on Calle Ocho if you ever want to smoke some nice cigars. Cremo, you know where to go. And yeah, bro, Miami's just special. The weather
really
here is amazing too.
It's way different than Philly. Way different, night and day.
Yeah.
It's one of those cities that you can't really replicate it because of the feel of it. It's, the tropical vibe, the fact that it is a big major city, and you're right. If you want to travel to South America, it's right there. It's like a perfect location. Hence why it's so damn expensive down here. But I mean, it's one of the great cities of America. So I'm happy that I'm here.
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah. But what do you guys want to talk about first? What do you guys want to segue
I mean,
into?
anything. I would first want to like tell me about your podcast and the concept dimensional deception. Like, what does that mean? Why'd you come up with that name? And then, like, how old were you when you started to realize that these topics is what piques your interest? Well, shout out to you as well because you're following like what piques your interest, which I recommend anyone does,
Exactly.
so.
Anybody follow your passion, no matter what. Like, if it gets you ridiculed, if it gets you to a point where people are hating, then that means you're doing the right thing. So, at least you're doing what you love to do. And for me, what really got me motivated was just kind of I just kind of had an epiphany, I guess, or like a moment in time where you just feel like everything's against you and you just kind of want to have that extra knowledge to put yourself in a better position in the future. And that's really what happened to me. So I just started to research one thing after the next, and then you start to realize that a lot of this stuff, comes out to lies and bullshit thrown at you to make you think a certain way, to make you think that, the perspective that the government gives you or whoever's in power, what they give you, that's really not the truth all the time. So when you kind of take that, that step back, that different view for yourself, and you kind of look at everything for what it is and you connect the dots for yourself, you could, it's amazing what happens. Your mind opens up. You start to think differently in terms of, I guess, just being more in tune with your consciousness, yourself, and where you should be on the planet. So that's what drew me down here to Miami, and I feel like I'm in the right spot right now. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, man. No, there's a lot of people that are paying attention to the kind of content that you're putting out there. I've checked it out. You're definitely doing the work. You're doing the research. For sure, a lot of the things you talk about are relevant today that is not being portrayed out there in, let's say, like TV media, like your legacy media.
Yeah, everything's censored now.
Yeah. So guys like you are pretty important in that you're going to do the independent route and do the research for yourself, whereas a lot of people don't actually have the time to look into these subjects at a deep level, like how they actually should, or things should be transparent enough to be put in your face that things are run the way that they are.
Exactly.
This is the country that's supposed to be built on.
Yeah, this country is like at a point where it's just so divided, and you just get this feel that it's perpetuated on you. It's not what you want. It's not what humanity wants. Mm-hmm. It's just we're at this point where we're given this scenario to us, like we were talking about earlier, like the Matrix and stuff like that. There's so many different nuances to what the Matrix could be, or what this world really even is, and why we're put in the situation that we're put in wherever we are in life. And you gotta, I guess, decipher all that information for yourself for what it is and what you really think life is. What is life, and what's really the goal of life, what's the goal of humanity. So I guess that's really what I want to kind of try to educate people on, and that comes with different type of knowledge and different type of understanding of what I try to throw out there for people to educate themselves, because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm just so I let a lot of other people, smart people, that are also in the game, they help me out with my podcast.
But it's only through doing your podcast that you're going to get better at understanding what's happening.
Exactly.
So I applaud you for going after that, pursuing what you want to do. Then getting your face on the internet is a great way to get your ideas exposed. So
how many years deep are you when it comes to the research that you've been doing?
I would say like 4 years now. Everything changes. Like you try to kind of, like some of these people have been in the game for like 20, 25 years. They have so many different connections and so much inside information. Me only being around for like a few years and just starting my podcast, you kind of just have to go off your gut feeling, it's just kind of in you. You know what I mean? You just like say, okay, this is what's happening. Just like solving a problem or whatever. You try to figure out, where those puzzle pieces fit. And now I feel like I'm ready to take that next step. That's why I started this podcast, to try to educate people too on the things that I think about, how I think, because I definitely think a little bit differently than everybody else. The shit that I believe in, sometimes it could throw people off. But
why do you think that is? Because I feel the same way sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because I was talking about in my first podcast, we're all given this perspective of like who we should be or how we should act or what things we should say. And I think that in the long run, you got to kind of keep that like genuine confidence in yourself for what your consciousness, your brain, and what you believe in, what is right and wrong. Because I think that they try to give that to you on a silver platter to think a certain way, and maybe certain things that they want you to believe in aren't the right thing to believe in, as far as like being pro-human and stuff like that. Because we all are in this together at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Trying to survive all this crazy shit that they throw at us. So, one of the main things is like people see us in a light where we're always at conflict, and now we're at a stage where we could change the game with social media.
Yeah.
We could change the game with the technology, and that's what they're afraid of, and that's what we're doing here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So with the research that you've been looking into, would you want to, I guess, take a deeper dive into history and then go on from what happened before to what's happening now to what can happen in the future? Or would you want to go into COVID? Because I'm sure when COVID hit, you probably took your studying to another level and found out a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, COVID was one of those things where I feel like everybody started to think a little bit differently. I think it's just like almost the energies in the universe just colliding with all this conflict. There's got to be some good that comes out of bad, right? Like an equal good that comes out of bad. So I started thinking like in terms of, where we are now, like the planet is at a point where we could go like one of two ways. So if you look at the history, it's always been that way, always constant conflict, creation of problems and wars, and, you go all the way back to World War II, and we can go through the history of the government and how they just completely were corrupted after, integrating the Nazi party into the government and all the different secret programs and secret space programs and stuff like that.
So it started with the Nazis. Like when we win the war, and like there's this operation or whatever, and we take like some Nazi scientists and we incorporate them into our government, which is like NASA and stuff.
Yes. So basically, I think the United States had an idea of what the Nazis were up to, and it had to deal with a lot of secret technologies, and the Nazis were some of the greatest engineers on the planet at the time, and probably in the history of the planet, with all their creations. And they really were very organized in a sense that, they almost took over all of Europe. And if they didn't conquest into Russia, then, they probably would have had a chance at winning that war if they never got Russia involved. And at the end of the day, they were the ones that started with the secret, space program stuff, all the different technologies as far as like, alien technologies. And then that's why we incorporated the Nazi scientists and the Nazi engineers like von Braun into the United States government through Operation Paperclip. So Operation Paperclip, it was kind of secret, then it became declassified, that all these Nazi scientists, engineers, and doctors, you name it, were allowed into the government. Also, they were, they went into other places like Russia. I don't know so much about China. A lot of them fled to Argentina as well after the war. And it's interesting, Argentina, it's like the country that's right across from Antarctica. We were talking about all the Antarctica stuff earlier.
No, I've heard there's a shit ton of Germans that live in Antarctica. Like, there's a whole town that they...
Well, in Argentina.
Argentina, I'm sorry. That they only speak German, and everything's like German architecture. Like, it's literally a little Germany.
Yeah, they have Oktoberfest and stuff. It's
Supposedly
crazy.
So I saw this show once, and it was talking about how, I believe it was Expedition Unknown,
I never seen it. Yeah.
Oh wow, it's a great show.
The show?
I
Okay.
think his name is Josh Gates. Yeah, great show. And he was talking about how Hitler actually faked his death because it was a supposed suicide.
I can see that.
So he talks about how he faked his death and then he camped out in Argentina, and that's where he stayed. He never really died. He went to Argentina. Who I don't know, and they don't know. That's what they're trying to figure out, what happened throughout the rest of his life. But supposedly there are people in Argentina that around that time have said that they saw him after he committed suicide.
Well, do you know that, so it's crazy, like, all the Nazi connections even now are crazy. Because if you look at Klaus Schwab, I believe, like, his father, his grandfather was part of, like, the Nazi, one of the Nazi programs, whether that was, like, the nuclear program, whatever.
For real?
Yeah, he was, like, he was up there.
Tell people who Klaus Schwab is.
Oh, Klaus Schwab is the leader of and founder of the World Economic Forum, and Klaus Schwab wants to run your life into the ground. He wants to create 15-minute cities based on climate change. He wants to change all the cryptocurrencies to like a world government currency through a digital ID, vaccination ID, climate change monitoring.
Do you think he wants to do all this for good?
No, not at all.
Bro, when you watch the videos of what come out of there, it's like, damn, these guys are out there. They put it out there, and they don't care that.
And he wears that Star Wars outfit. The freaking he has like this black vest that's like literally looks like if he was out in the space, something you would wear, like an alien would wear.
Like Darth Vader?
Yeah, like the Chancellor Palpatine or whatever. And
he looks like a bad person. Yeah. And then the way he talks is like a Bond villain.
Yeah, he's like trying to portray himself as like a villain, like a evil.
So why
villain.
is it that
foreign accent?
So if he's not doing it for the good of humanity and he portrays himself as a villain, why is it that he gets to be the founder owner of this economic forum that runs the world, and why do we follow and listen to him?
Well, because it's
like who is he?
So he's just like he's a head of the Hydra, but I don't know if like, so I say Hydra is like a, like a crazy monster. There's a bunch of different heads to it, but it's a sense where I feel like he is one of the heads of control, but he's not really in control of everything. Mm-hmm. There's other things that
he's a figurehead.
Yeah, I mean, he's the symbol of the New World Order on the planet, kind of, But I think his role in it is just like, George Soros's role in everything, taking over the judicial system of the United States with the DAs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody has their different role of how to consolidate the power and really take over the freedom here on this planet. It's freedom under the way that they deem it to be now that they're doing all the corruption, and their corruption is coming out. So, what does, like a dog backed into a corner, vicious dog backed into a corner, what do you think it's going to do? It's going to bite you because it's scared, it's threatened. So now it's trying to bite us in the ass, and Klaus Schwab definitely being one of the main ones. But it's just really a crazy time to be alive, to be honest with you. All these people coming out to light now. Why now? Yeah. Why does Bill Gates get on TV during a pandemic? You know what I mean?
For sure.
He never was on TV before.
So mentioning that it's a crazy time to be alive nowadays, and with all of the possible corruption happening, and also there's cancel culture, when there's people like Andrew Tate trying to speak out about things like this, why do you think it is that they throw him in jail? Is it actually because of the women that he, whether he did it or not, I don't know, but let's say he did, just for this just benefit, like give other people the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he's guilty. Why is it that now they throw him in jail when he's speaking out about these issues?
Well, two things. So I think under Romanian law, you could imprison somebody without them being guilty. So there's like some weird law there. Look it up. I don't know 100%, but that's something I heard.
Something like that for X amount of days that you can keep somebody detained.
Yeah, so, and then he's also a symbol of masculinity. Now, whether women want to sit there and say it's toxic masculinity or whatever, or he's given the wrong impression of what to do. I don't agree with everything that he says, but at the end of the day, he is a symbol of masculinity, and they want to try to demasculate the planet. And I think that has to deal with being able to further control the planet, because if you can demasculate, a warrior, like-minded man that's willing to, fight for freedom, it's easier to take away freedom.
Yeah.
It's all about that at the end of the day. And being a man, there's nothing wrong with being a man. Be a man.
So you think
Go
there's
build stuff.
There's
Go
like some
do
corruption
stuff.
behind it. Like
100%. Yeah.
well,
like you say they, and then like you want to get into like who they are.
Well, like we were discussing a little bit, like Klaus Schwab and all those people. They being the Illuminati, whether you believe in extraterrestrials having some influence over this planet. We can get into all that crazy stuff. I would love to, because
we definitely will.
Yeah,
and we're headed there.
Yeah, I don't want to go too fast.
I wanna like. So, let me know what you think about this, because the way that I see it about the Andrew Tate situation is like, what kind of like, what doesn't make sense to me is, let's say he is guilty, right? So all the women out there that think he's an asshole and he actually, he's doing sex trafficking to women, which is a terrible thing. What's weird to me is that there are so many people out there that are actually committing that crime of sex trafficking for a living, like generations of people doing that, and they're not in jail because they're not putting themselves on camera and openly talking about how to be a better person and how to overcome the matrix and overcome the system. So they remain low-key. They actually stay away from camera and mainstream media so that they continue to traffic these women. And the police in Romania and the police around the world do nothing about it. But it's kind of funny to me how all of a sudden, when he opens up and starts talking about be the best version of yourself, escape the matrix, and basically follow your passion instead of just draining yourself in a 9-to-5, all of a sudden, cases from 2016 are coming up out of nowhere because he's more powerful than ever, and now he needs to be thrown in jail for sex trafficking. So what I would ask the women out there is he getting thrown in jail because these people care about sex trafficking offenders, or is he being put in jail because he's saying too much online about the matrix, the system, and how to be free?
Well,
because I'm very against sex trafficking, and I think all the sex traffickers should be in jail, as he is.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And
yeah,
if he is
for
a
sure.
sex trafficker, he should be in jail.
Yeah,
but
no.
it's funny to me how he speaks his mind, and all of a sudden, now he's becoming powerful. Now they want to throw him in jail. Why haven't they thrown him in jail as a sex trafficker before the fame?
Well, again, I think he just, like you said, he reached a certain point of fame and influence. When you have certain influence that goes against the agenda, then they come after you, right? So we were talking about Alex Jones earlier. Like, Alex Jones, he made a mistake, but he's not the guy that, killed those people in the school, but they made him out to be the villain of that whole situation of Sandy Hook. That's what I'm talking about, the whole Sandy Hook payout that he had to pay. But when you compare it to somebody like Andrew Tate, where's the evidence, right? Where's the evidence? Everybody's sitting there and saying that, he's guilty, but he's just being detained. Nobody has any hard, concrete evidence. And are they going to indict him, or is he being just held? So that's what I really want to know about that situation. But if he did do something wrong, obviously he should pay the consequences, pay the piper, because being a pedophile is you're a scumbag. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or if you're raping anybody, you're a scumbag. Well, but at the end of the day, like, the government almost promotes pedophilia. Like if you look at California, they just changed the law that you could have sex with a minor that's 10 years younger than you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's crazy. That's a promotion of pedophilia on.
Like, that's a new law.
Yes, that is a new law. Yeah.
Let's go into that, because you mentioned about Andrew Tate. Where is the evidence? So to go off of that, the whole Epstein case, there seems to be a lot of evidence, and now they have this woman, which I don't know her name. What's her name? You guys know?
What's her name?
Jeffrey Epstein's partner.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, so Maxwell. Now they have this woman in jail, and with Andrew Tate, where's the evidence? I agree.
Yeah.
But with Maxwell, there's
they
a
got all
shitload
of
of
it,
evidence.
yeah.
So why aren't they questioning her? Why aren't their names coming out? What's going on with that situation?
Well,
because in my opinion, sex trafficking, like minors, children, is so much worse than Andrew Tate's cases of sex trafficking, which, I don't know the details, but What's up with Maxwell?
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell was kind of like she was like the madam. She was like the recruiter for like Jeffrey Epstein. She would like almost like pick out the girls and stuff. But she got, she's in jail right now. Actually, a recent video, I seen it today. They were questioning her while she was in jail in her cell.
Today, wow.
I'd seen it today, yeah. But I don't know if it was today or yesterday or whenever the video was recorded. They were asking her, hey, do you think Jeffrey Epstein killed himself? And she goes, no, I think he was killed.
Yeah.
So, again, why was Jeffrey Epstein killed? Of course we know why Jeffrey Epstein was killed. What they were doing on that island, what they do in these secret societies, they promote pedophilia within their inner circles. It's crazy. I believe it was like the German government at one point. They sent a bunch of kids from foster homes to known pedophiles. I mean, that just got declassified. I mean, this stuff is promoted all across the planet.
Why is such a like disgusting, evil thing so important to him?
Because it's a way to affect vibrational frequencies. If it's all this crazy stuff. If you want to go down that road,
I would love to go down that road.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can't comprehend why these powerful people are into pedophilia. Like that's evil. It's straight.
Are they human? I don't know. Are all of them human into that crap? I don't know.
Whoa.
I've heard it's a form of blackmail. It's
black magic too.
I think I like that one more. Like,
that's what I've heard. Is they
because if you think about it, these
well,
people.
Yeah,
these people
that too.
power,
Yes, that too.
I think it's more that
they catch you. With
well, that was
younger,
Jeffrey Epstein's whole job. He was a triple agent for all the 3 like major intelligence agencies that he was blackmailing people and getting these people to be in position in this new world order scheme, and all the scientists and all the, all these people that, like in the secret programs and stuff that we were talking about. I'm sure some of them were involved. But at the end of the day, that stuff is like a religion for them. That's why you see it so promoted now, that it's okay to be a pedophile, or it's okay to do weird stuff with children and teach children weird stuff and try to corrupt their mind, because it's a tool to open up like a really bad Pandora's box. And they know that if you attack children are the essence of life. It's a little girl or a little boy, and you're telling them that they don't know who they are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how are you going to tell little kids you don't know who you are?
It's like brainwash.
That's for them to find out for themselves.
Yeah.
That's for the kids to find out for themselves. And that's what's wrong with society today. It's like, why just because they tell you to start acting this way and thinking this way, and that's why we're saying the brainwashing, you're literally being brainwashed into thinking that your self-righteous like liberal style of thinking is going to somehow change the planet into a better place. It's not going to change it into a better place. It's going to change it into a worse place. It's literally the opposite direction of where we should be going. And, it does get me a little bit fired up talking about the kids and stuff like that, because, as you talk about the kids, you realize that
it's evil.
It's evil,
It's nothing but
It's
evil.
pure evil.
Yeah.
And, it's a great segue into crazy conspiracy. So, you guys can look this up, too. All right. So, Anthony Weiner got indicted for his laptop.
Who's Anthony Weiner?
So he was some congressman in the government, but his laptop somehow got mistaken, and the NYPD got hold of it somehow, and it was filled with all this child porn and pedophilia and stuff. But one of the main things on that video, that's a rumor, conspiracy, but I think it's true. It was Hillary Clinton and Uma Abedin, who was, I believe, Hillary Clinton's aide, who was with Anthony Weiner. Correct me if I'm wrong. But on this laptop, that's the more important thing, was Uma Abedin and Hillary Clinton, committing heinous acts against a child.
Like video?
On video. Now, I'm not going to go into detail and stuff.
Have you seen a video?
No, but 12 NYPD officers have seen that video. And of the 12, 9 have been discovered dead. The other 3, I guess they're still living. And they're probably just staying quiet because they saw that 9 other
are dead. How are they dead?
Out of 12 people,
Out of 12 people that
9
seen the video.
people died that have seen this video.
How are they dead?
I guess accidents, overdoses,
is there,
suicide, whatever.
Is there a record on how they died?
No, I mean that's the conspiracy basically, that people had deciphered like the names of the people that saw the video, and they seen that these people their obituaries were showing up, and all these people were dying. That seen the video, and that's really the Clinton history, is that if you go against them, you're gonna get off somehow. And
I forgot what podcast I was watching, but it was either Pat Bet David or Joe Rogan, where they were talking about how when you think about the power that these people have, if they were able to kill Epstein in the type of prison that he was in, with the type of security that was around him, the way that they maneuvered and made the moves to get him killed, that within itself just shows you how much power whoever
when
was
you're dead,
behind
you're
that
gonna be
has.
dead, bro. You're gonna be dead.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, the people that end up escaping death and then finally get some type of security around them, those are the special type of people. Like, I actually think, I don't even know where the world is going, but I think they could maybe try to assassinate Trump. I think that they could do that.
They're putting him in jail.
Yeah, well, they're trying to put him in.
I'm not sure about
So
any of
based
that.
off of hush money law, so based off of him paying off hush money, I believe it was in the Stormy Daniels case, that a misdemeanor charge that was normally a misdemeanor charge has been now raised to a felony charge with this not new DA, but a DA that I'm sure that was George Soros activated DA. That changed this in order to indict him. So he wasn't indicted on any federal charges. None of the impeachments worked out. It was all a bunch of BS, the Russia collusion stuff. We now know that. So now we get more BS. But I think if, just like JFK, I mean, anybody that goes against the system, anybody that's persecuted by the system is gonna somehow end up dead. I mean, if you're going up against the agenda, or you're gonna try to ruin them, they're gonna try to find a way to get rid of you. So, who knows what's gonna happen, man? I mean, a lot of people, we were talking about the secret space program a little bit earlier, but a lot of those people, they go missing. That's the compartmentalization of the government and the military industrial complex, how they just treat their operations like it's business. You're gonna ruin business. You're gonna ruin business probably forever if you keep going the way you're going. So better off to get rid of you, and people just figure out, what happened afterwards. And that's what they did with Jeffrey Epstein.
For sure, and the news cycle goes so fast that you forget all about it in
Exactly.
2 weeks.
And they just throw everything at you, like
They
everything.
desensitize and
Everything at you.
Well, speaking about the news, what do you think is going on with UFOs nowadays?
All right, so
I don't know where they exist.
So the UFO topic is such an expansive topic. The most recent article, we were talking about the mothership out in orbit of our solar system right now. So what's all that about? But I'll tell you
I just
what.
think it's funny how we go from UFOs aren't a thing, the government's just staying quiet about that. No comment.
Yeah.
All right, a couple months later, by the way, there's a mothership, just so you guys know.
So
that's
do
like
you
from
know,
the Pentagon, right?
So do you know? And so I posted on my podcast. If any of you guys want to go check it out, it's actually a video of me describing what was in the COVID bill on InfoWars. I was able to get in on InfoWars call, and they actually made me the caller of the day for what I was talking about.
I heard that last night. That was awesome.
Yeah, so they made me caller of the day. They actually did like a whole special behind certain things that I was saying about the UFO disclosure that was hidden in the COVID bill. So in the COVID bill, there was a 180-day countdown to disclosure of certain UFO stuff. So I brought that up, and I brought up a lot of different points. A big link to the UFO stuff is Antarctica, and before the show ever started, I was mentioning that in Antarctica, basically a lot of the Nazi Germany technology, they were basically chosen to reverse engineer this technology and transferred it over to Antarctica. So on that podcast, I mentioned that Trump was basically like building a fleet of ships. It's similar to the Operation High Jump that happened after the United States government figured out what was going on in Antarctica with Admiral Byrd. So I found it interesting that Trump was going to sign into action to build another fleet by the year 2029 to go to Antarctica.
Fleet of ships to go to Antarctica.
Yes.
For what reason?
Exactly. For what reason? Why are you building military ships to go to Antarctica? Then he signed.
This is Trump.
Yeah, this is all Trump. So then he signed into action Space Force, and then he always was talking about going to Mars. Now, what's the history behind Antarctica and the alien agenda and the reptilians and all that crazy stuff? So basically, this is the story, how it goes, is that we have certain type of extraterrestrials that have influence on society. Now, whether you believe that or not, there's people in black site program, secret space program that have come out on a limb and gone on shows and done specials and have done interviews that have credentials in these think tanks, like the TRW think tank, the Douglas think tank. And you have all these individuals that were also in the military that have seen UFOs, whether it was reverse engineered by the government or it was actual extraterrestrial, we don't know. But at the end of the day, you have all these sightings of like Roswell, New Mexico. That's a well-known one back in 1947. You have the sighting over the Jefferson Memorial. I believe that was in 1952. You have the battle for Los Angeles, where UFOs were seen over Los Angeles, and they actually fired upon what they saw. You have incidents back in I think it was 2008 or 2009 in Russia over the Kremlin. There was a pyramid-like structure where they tried to. It looked real. There was like a bunch of different angles, and then the same type of alien aircraft or UFO, whatever you want to call it, it was literally a pyramid. So that's the most interesting part about it, is that was a pyramid.
A flying pyramid?
Yes.
These are on video?
Yes, on video.
How big
over
is
the
a flying
Pentagon
pyramid?
and over the
Over the
Kremlin.
Pentagon.
Yes, over the Pentagon.
So
a lot of people were
how big is this flying pyramid?
So they were saying it was huge, that it was like hundreds of feet wide, hundreds of feet tall.
If something flies over the Pentagon, is it getting shot at on site?
Well, that's what the argument was saying, that why didn't over the Kremlin or over the Pentagon did it not get shot down? Now, certain people try to debunk this with like one expert saying refractions of light doesn't make any sense. It looks like it would be CGI. But in the Pentagon incident, 4 different angles from 4 different people that don't know each other saw the same flying structure. Like, it was literally a huge pyramid, and they have video. And then they try to do some fake CGI thing on for a United Nations meeting for some CEO of like some Russian company that was representing in the UN, to it was like a super well done fake CGI where she described the pyramids flying over the Kremlin on that incident. And then they had no history of anybody actually making that CGI. They couldn't find the originator of the work. Yeah. Nobody claimed the work. And then that was pretty much like an operation to discredit what people were recording. So there's all these different sightings, all these different recaps of Secret Space Program, MJ-12 people coming out and talking about their interactions with extraterrestrials. So, that's really where we are now. I believe that's kind of like the secret war going on right now, is that fight for that technology and that fight for that future of the technology going into the future. Because think about it, if we're 200 years advanced in military technology, or we're 200 years advanced in whatever technologies, Imagine what that would do for humanity.
But who's 200 years advanced in that technology?
The government, in a sense, where their secret programs like Solar Warden, look it up. It's basically like William Tompkins. He talks about, he has all the credentials to be in the secret space program, all the think tanks. Talks about how he was one of the main designers of the spacecraft for the secret space program. He was part of the TRW think tanks and the Douglas think tank, and very, very high up in that type of ranking. And he lived to be in his 90s, and before he died, he started telling his whole story while he was really old. And he was the one that kind of told about the World War II stuff.
Yeah.
But the main influence, over this planet, I believe, could be some type of extraterrestrial life that's given the government this technology through whatever means, whether it's in the third dimension, the fourth dimension, some type of weird interaction, whatever's going on. They have the technology to advance the human race so far ahead of what we are now, but they keep us in a bubble because that bubble keeps the corporations happy, keeps the system moving, and then they can control the system. If you give people the opportunity to blast off into the cosmos and go do whatever they want and, figure things out for themselves, then that's going to change the game. So can't do that, especially not under a controlled environment.
So in your opinion, there's a concerted effort to keep people where we're at and keep you a consumer so that you continue in the system where everybody stays in the place that they're already established.
100%. Yeah. That is, like, in a nutshell, where we are. And everybody's just starting to find out about the system. That's the crazy part. Is that that's internet. Yes, exactly. Like, that is the double-edged sword for them. They're so obsessed with AI because they want to use AI to kind of blast off into the cosmos, like as a immortal being, in a sense, where you could use AI, transfer your consciousness and stuff like that. But the AI technology that they created helps us out, and it helps us connect with each other, and that's how we're beating them, in a sense, because we're more in tune with all this now.
Have you tried ChatGPT?
I saw the South Park episode of ChatGPT. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It was he was texting his girlfriend back with ChatGPT the whole time. And that's what's happening. I heard a lot of people they're using that to text their girls. But
texting the girls just to casual conversation, you're like, yo, ChatGPT, help me out. How do I spit game?
Yeah, like, I guess you could do that too. I mean, let's see what the AI's got. I mean, if the AI can pick you up a chick,
ChatGPT, how to slide in DM.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. No, but I've tried it. I've put it on, and then I've had it like write me
an essay?
Like an essay application for a job. Like, it gives you good recommendations of, like, okay, this is what they're looking for. Like, it's supposedly the new form of Google, where
it's trying to change the game, man. I mean, now they have to have literal software to figure out if it is any type of AI writing, because they can't figure it out. And so how are they going to tell you, like, if you take the AI rendering, you move around a couple of words, that's the easiest way to get done an essay. And then, I mean, that's going to kind of dumb people down, though. You think about it.
Yo, I got a question for you. So when it comes to what you were saying, like, I'm just here thinking about everything, and if that is where we're headed as, like, I guess, humanity, why is it that there is such evil, and it seems to be just a distraction towards the biggest goal within humanity? So evil as in, like, these powerful people doing corrupt things and then messing with children, and then also so much war in between humanity within, like, just USA with Russia, China, North Korea, Ukraine. Why are all of us going against each other if humanity the goal should be to, like you were saying, gather all this information to be able to advance and evolve?
All right, so great question. So I believe there's two factions to it, right? So you have the cabal, you have the alliance, you have people wanting different things right now in positions of power, and the one side that's been in the position of power for so long it's slipping away. So they're trying to tighten their grip off of something that's slipping away from them, and they understand that. And now, like, that grip is super tight to the point where we're all seeing it now, right? We're all seeing the evil, we're seeing the corruption, and that happens when you have people in power that are willing to go against the system. And that's the most important part, is that, the term like rhino, Republican in name only, right? You have operatives in the government that are completely against, different agendas, but they're put in those positions in order to change the system for the worse, and put in this dystopic system because they know that that's the means that they could do it in, because they've established this power. That's why the term establishment or deep state or whatever you want to get involved in there. But as far as the evil goes, it's more like, these people have bought into something that I don't believe is human. Again, I just don't think that's human. That's not human nature, whether you call it evil spirits, demons, extraterrestrials, whatever the hell you may want to call it. It's bad. It's bad for humanity. It's bad for the future of humanity. And to get involved in all that stuff, it's basically, and to support it is to say, you don't care about humanity. You don't care about the future of humanity. Because that's really what it's all about. You're trying to let the plane go by. Let the plane go by.
Is that a coincidence?
Yeah, it's the government plane trying to stop my speech there. They said, let's interrupt them real quick.
Pentagon Airlines passing by.
Yeah, but no, I think it's really is a concerted effort amongst people that understand that their power is slipping, and we do have, I think, people who are pro-humanity have good people on their side. It's just the fact that you can't be desensitized to all this stuff. You actually have to take a stand for it. That's why I started this podcast, and I feel like more people should take a stand for this stuff, because whether you're passionate about it or whatever, it's all about everybody being a collective consciousness moving forward into humanity. Like, if you allow the evil stuff to affect your consciousness, then the evil consciousness is going to affect humanity, bring humanity down, and vice versa.
Speaking of that and bringing everyone together, did you attend January 6th?
No,
Okay.
did not. I went to another event. It was a few weeks before. It was like maybe a month before January 6th. I believe it was like November 23rd or something like that. One of those weekends. It wasn't as intense as January 6th.
Well, I want to talk to you about January 6th because I recently saw something where it basically talks about how the guy that was arrested and was the main guy, I forget his name,
He wore a hat with horns on it.
The shaman?
The shaman.
The shaman.
Yeah, the shaman.
So he got arrested, and I was watching something.
Shaman?
Again, I think it's Pat Bet David. Shout out to Pat Bet David, just up north of us. So we out here doing our thing too.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how this guy that was supposedly the one causing all the chaos and got arrested was on surveillance. I actually saw, like, they played the surveillance cameras. He was walking around with the cops, and there was no type of, like...
Yeah, he was being escorted around the building. Like,
very civil,
he was
and
a guest.
very calm. And then, of course, there was the others that were going crazy, standing on desks and doing the dumbest shit that you could ever think of. So, like, those people that are out there that are watching this, if you think that's cool or, like, right, you're just stupid. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the main guy was being escorted around, and he ended up getting most of the blame. What's up with that? Do you know, or...
Well, it was just that he was the symbol of a QAnon patriot type of guy. He fit the bill with the outfit that he was wearing. The fact that he went in there, and it's just basically them saying, all right, well, you screw with us, now we're going to screw with you. You did nothing wrong, but tough shit. Now we're going to put you in the gulag, and you're going to stay in the gulag. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or you're not guilty of anything. That's the society that's going to be perpetuated in the future. Tough shit. You didn't do anything wrong? Oh, well, it's the society rules. This is how you should think. This is how you should feel. This is what you should do. And just because he entered those doors, they chose to choose him as a symbol because of what he was wearing and how, what he looked like. And to be honest, that is, they have the doctrine already written up for domestic terrorists, when has that ever been enacted in United States history? That is absolutely insane that they literally have a documentation saying this is what we deem as domestic terrorist. Because, again, their power is slipping. What happened on January 6th, not going to say that it was right that people stormed the Capitol building, but what happened in 1776? It's the same thing. It's the people, whether it's the side you hate or the side you love.
Sorry, what did happen in
1776? Independence Day, 4th of July. So we decided
Ignorance is bliss.
No, sorry. We decided to declare our independence, and I think this is a different declaration of independence. It's a declaration of independence from the world government, agendas. Now, if you want to be part of the world government agenda, there's plenty of places that you could go to.
Cuba?
Wherever you want.
Yeah.
To be part of a socialist, communist government, go there, move there, and live your happiest life under that system. Because the system that gives you the freedom to express yourself against the people that are against the New World Order agenda, so I guess you would say my opposition, the freedom of speech that you have now will be taken away from you just like it's taken away from me now. Yeah. Because that's a system that you are allowing to be put in place. It could go against you at any point in time.
For sure.
When they decide that you are a threat or you are a problem. And that's where we're at now. And I think that people are now choosing sides in a sense, where you need to kind of say, hey, this is what I stand for. This is where the world's going. If not, then the United States becomes a shell of itself, and I don't even think it's the United States anymore.
Nah, it's a little crazier now. What I found crazy with January 6th is when they just recently released the 41,000 hours or whatever. Tucker Carlson, I think, has them. Like, the outrage from the other side, like, oh, I can't believe they gave this. Like, this is like so secretive document, oh, only you can withhold the evidence that you want out, and now government should be based on transparency. I think that's the
problem
the USA government should be.
That's exactly the problem, is the complacency of certain people. Can you pour me up some, bro? Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
definitely.
before we continue, shout out Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
There you go.
Terramana, the best tequila out there.
Yes.
Super smooth, super healthy.
I don't even think I've had this.
Oh, well.
I was drinking the Milagro, the cheap stuff.
You're about to taste the best tequila ever made.
Oh, my God.
I mean, hey.